When you think about the standard controller for playing video games, you might think to something like the Xbox controller, Xbox 360, Xbox One, or what Microsoft is now considering the Xbox Series controllers, which are just revamped versions of the Xbox One series of controllers. I can see how that gets confusing. The Microsoft controllers have become the mainstream form of a controller. You can even see with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, they've really started to follow that standardized asymmetrical analog sticks, the 4 face buttons, and the D-pad at the bottom. Now, not every company does that. There's still Sony that does the symmetrical analog sticks at the bottom with their DualShock and DualSense controllers, but not everybody, including myself, is very comfortable with that.
Okay, Zach, are you ready?
It is time to game! What is this thing?
Oh, it's the PS5 controller. PS5? Oh, it's like, what do you think? How does
What the f is this? You might also remember in 2012 when Nintendo had the symmetrical analog sticks at the top of the Wii U gamepad and Pro controller. That was incredibly confusing.
Play with it. I said play with it. Play with it. You will die. You will die. Play with it.
What am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that there isn't exactly a one-size-fits-all solution to video game controllers. The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. That's a mouthful. This really is for people that want to get the full extent out of the games that they're playing. Say if it's a game like Overwatch 2, Fortnite Battle Royale, if that's even still a thing people play anymore. The vast majority of people are going to be more than satisfied with the standard controller that comes with their console. The versatility of this controller is the de facto selling point of this thing. The fact that everything is, for the most part, magnetic, all the interchangeable switches. Say, if I'm not a fan of the right stick that I have out here, I simply just pull it off. I then go to my case, and then if I want a taller stick for something like an FPS or just any kind of shooter, I can grab my taller analog stick, and I just snap it right into place. And now I've got a taller stick that gives me much wider range for aiming. Say if I'm using this for a Nintendo Switch game, if I want to play, say, Mario Kart 8, where it doesn't read analog inputs of an Xbox trigger, I can simply press the switches on the back, go down to a mouse click press essentially, and now when I press down on the trigger, it's just a simple press, just like that. Ever since they were first making SCUF custom controllers, people go crazy about the whole back paddle situation of controllers, because it makes it that much easier if you have to use both sticks, but you also have to do a command through the face buttons, for example. Now you don't have to take your thumb off of the right stick, and you can continue to just multitask your functions. This also works great if you're not exactly comfortable with claw grip. Claw grip is when you have your fingers on both the bumpers and the triggers. The way I see this is that this is a controller that is really meant to be the last controller you'll ever need to buy. This is a $220 controller. Not everybody is going to be on board with that. That's nearly 4 times the amount of a standard Xbox Series controller. I can understand why people don't want to put that kind of money out for a controller. Going into this half generation of the Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 and seeing what Nintendo may be doing with a pro model of their next console in the next year or so, it's going to be really interesting to see if companies like Nintendo are going to come out with their Elite series of controllers to kind of counteract the Microsoft and Sony Elite controllers. I don't know if it's likely since we already have a Pro controller, but maybe they'll make a Elite controller that's above Pro controller. You never know.